Hey, we're back this week with the second half of the review, as I promised from last week. Last week we did Mouse and Basso. This week we're going to continue the comic pack. I've got Luke Skywalker disguised as Lieutenant Jundland and Deena Shan. I'll show you the back of the box here. I'll read it to you. As part of the Rebel mission to rescue Joran's soul from the Imperial base on Callus 6, Luke Skywalker pretends to be Imperial officer Lieutenant Jundland. He unexpectedly encounters an old friend from Tatooine, whose knowledge of Luke's true identity may jeopardize the mission. Meanwhile, Deena Shan leaks false information about the Rebel base to lure Imperial forces into a trap, but at a heartbreaking cost to her. It's a pretty good pack. I'll show you the figures. Luke's lightsaber. He comes with a lightsaber and an Imperial blaster here. The main reason I got this pack was because, as you kind of noticed, I'm an Empire freak. They've had an Imperial officer in olive gray before, but they've never had like a lower rank person. It's always been someone of high rank like Grand Moff Tarkin, Admiral Mahdi, Admiral Ozzel, Captain Piet. It's always been someone high rank and specific out of the movie. They've never just had the base lieutenant. So even though these are Rebel operatives, I've done it and a lot of people have done it online. They'll just straight up say they're Rebel officers. They've got these for that to use as Rebel officers. I'll get them out of the pack. I'll show them to you. Pop Luke out here. Give you a good look at the figures. Here's Luke. Here's Deena. Neither one of these is a unique mold. They've actually used Luke before. I've mentioned Admiral Ozzel. If you have the older Admiral Ozzel figure, I find this odd. This is the exact same body, but with a different head sculpt. Admiral Ozzel, I find it odd. It is over 60. Luke is about 21 in Episode 5, so Ozzel has like a body of a 21-year-old man, I guess. Anyway, I'll go through articulation and everything on these figures. The first thing about these figures I noticed when I got them is the hats are removable. I actually lost these hats in my upholstery of the car. They popped down, I had to dig them out. And again, I keep these in storage in my dad's, where my dad lives in his motorhome. These fell in the vent once. I had the figures out and they actually fell in the motorhome vent. I had to unscrew the vent and get these hats out. So I'll tell you what, when you get these hats, keep them someplace safe. Keep them in a plastic bag or somewhere, unless you're going to simply display the figures. I'll go through articulation and everything. I'll start with Deena. Deena comes in another mold, actually, where she doesn't have the bun on the back of her hair. There's two variations for this comic pack. She's made from the same mold as Juno Eclipse is. I have Juno Eclipse here. Deena Shan actually came out first. Juno Eclipse is from the Force Unleashed video game, of course. The only difference between these figures is the rank insignia on them. And, of course, Deena has the olive gray uniform. Juno has the black. And Juno has, of course, the tan gloves. They're the same mold, though. I'll go through everything. She has an E11 blaster, common to the Empire. Ball-jointed head. She swivels at the waist, swivels at the shoulders, cut-jointed elbows, her wrists turn, no holster for her gun, her legs move but just barely, her knees bend, and her ankles turn on her. And of course she has this removable hat. She has the tan hat. Tan on the inside. We'll go through Luke. This actually doesn't look like Luke to me. He's got some poofy hair. Looks like he's got some baby fat on his cheeks. This is not the best Luke Skywalker. I just got his X-Wing pilot for the Legacy Collection, and they do not compare well to each other. Looks like more like, I don't know, a young George Michael or something before the beard. Anyway, he's got a ball-jointed head. Swivels here. Swivels at the waist. He's got you can move his elbows. They're cut joint. He's got swivel shoulders, swivel wrists. One thing I like about this figure a lot is I have a lot of Imperial officers in olive gray. He has the gloves on. You see, it's a very minor detail. Imperial officers in the movie a lot of times will have gloves on, the lower ranked ones, and it gives him more of a complete uniform look with the gloves. I like that about him and Deena. He's barely got swivel legs. He doesn't have bendable knees like she does, or movable ankles. As I said, he's based off Admiral Ozzel. He'll look very familiar to you if you have the Ozzel figure. Ozzel has a stationary hat. Couple things I like about these figures is their versatility. You can use them as the base figures from the comic book, as they're rebel operatives in disguise. You can also use them as Imperial figures, as I mentioned. But I've noticed something about the clone army. They don't have officers for the bridge crew of the ships. What are they called? The Vindicator destroyers, Vindicator Star Destroyers. Yeah, they never sell. Well, they'd be Old Republic officers, not Imperial. For the ships, you could also use these guys as for your clone army if you wanted. We're going to look through the comic pack real quick. This links directly to the Mouse and Basil comic. The artwork's pretty good in here. Here's Luke. Some stormtroopers. There's some more stormtroopers in here. Here's a good shot of Luke as Lieutenant Jundland. I guess they have given him some baby hat for the comic book. Here's his friend Tank from Tatooine. Tank is very briefly mentioned in the movie. This is a good comic. Imperial shuttle there. Here's R2-D2. This is Deena Shan, if we can get a good look at her. Yeah, it's a pretty good comic, and I said it links with the other one. You can also buy this comic book in comic stores. I've seen the Mouse and Basil one. I've looked for this one separately, but I couldn't find it. I think my local comic store is out. And also, I don't think I showed you Luke's lightsaber. Luke's gun is tied to his hand, but this lightsaber is pretty cool. I think it's one of the cooler lightsabers you can get with Luke Skywalker. I don't want to bother untying the gun and everything, but I'm going to give this comic pack a solid 8.5. I liked it so well, I did get a second one here. I have 2 of these now. I'm actually hoping to do a future review on a custom Imperial officer. I want to use these 2. I'd like to paint them. If you remember the movie, the ISB, Imperial Security Bureau, I'd like to get the tops painted white and black in the pants to make an ISB officer. That's never been made by Hasbro, and I don't think it will. So this is an 8.5, and it connects also to the issues 13 and 14 in Rebellion Small Victories. It's connected with Dagger Squadron. You can see Deena Shan in a civvy and an operative uniform. I'm also actually going to do a review next on these 2 and some other outfits in a different comic, so stay tuned for that, alright? This is Supreme signing out, and may the Force be with you.